If you don't know how to play fucking kill confirm, get the fuck off the game and go play team deathmatch. Kill confirm is you kill somebody and you go get the tags. Okay, you don't come to kill confirm and kill people that are trying to play the game. Go play something else, you fucking coward. Learn how to play, motherfucker, and I will play my own game.
This is Odin again, and this is Camping versus Patrolling, a gameplay style expose. This video has been a long time in the coming. I've actually been trying to get this video done for the better part of a year. I had the damn thing almost done a few months ago when my hard drive crashed, and unfortunately, I only back up my shit every couple of weeks. Yeah, I know, it's bad form. Especially being an IT manager, you would think I would be a little more conscientious about getting my shit backed up. But what has happened has happened. I am not entirely sure that this newest iteration of my original idea is the same as it was when I first started. What I originally intended to do was a breakdown of the differences between camping and patrolling. Since I decided on this initial idea, I think that it doesn't really matter how many times I say that patrolling is not camping and that camping is not patrolling, that anybody out there is going to go ahead and think whatever it is they want to think. I think you as an intelligent viewer will be able to see the difference. So this video is more of a breakdown of what I think camping is. I provide some of my own examples and gameplay footage, and then I show a few examples from a couple of my favorite camping commentators, if that's what you choose to call them. And if you're not able to see the difference between camping and patrolling, then by all means, keep up the anti-camper patrolling crusade. And while you're at it, I think you should add other types of hated gameplay to the list. A few hated gameplay styles to choose from might be not playing the objectives, noob tubing, sound whoring, and on and on and on. As it turns out, I'm glad I was forced to wait, as I was able to experience the YouTube sensation that is known as the Worm, aka Black X Worm. Through some vigorous direct messages through both YouTube and Twitter, I was finally able to coerce the Worm into letting me use a few small segments of his gameplay as a reference for extreme camping game style, aka the style known as the Worm. You will see that footage near the end of this video. I will also put the Worm's info down in the description. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Worm, go do so now. He is one of the only trolling channels that I actually watch. In addition to the Worm, I also have some footage from the original Punch Bowl Master, or at least who I think is the original Punch Bowl Master. He is also all about locking down an area of the map and patrolling it. Woe to you if you happen to infringe upon this Punch Bowl. If any of you know the term Punch Bowl and what it means, then chances are you know who I'm speaking of. That's right. The one, the only Brumac. And as it happens, Brumac was also kind enough to allow me to use short snippets of his content. His footage will also be seen near the end of this video. I will put Brumac's information down in the description as well, and if you checked out my last video, you know that I highly recommend people checking out the Bru's channel. Now, as you've all seen at the beginning of this video, people get seriously ass hurt when you are not playing up to their expectations of how you should play a game like COD. Since the only FPS game that I play is COD, I can only guess that the referenced third-party hearsay about camping in other FPS games is true. There are entire channels and YouTube series out there that are devoted to how much campers suck and the humiliation of these said campers. I believe that in my experience that there are three types of quote-unquote campers that a large majority of people bitch about. At this time, please note, this is all based upon hardcore gameplay styles in COD. So camping in Core or other FPS games may be slightly different. First, there is the worst kind, in my opinion, and most likely the most aggravating of all campers. You know who I'm talking about. The corner camper. Unfortunately, I didn't get any decent video of this type of camping because the only game modes that I play are hardcore, which if you've ever played hardcore before, you know there are no kill cams. So by the time you come around the corner, get shot in the face with a shotgun, you're already on your next life and you really had no idea what the hell happened to you. And every one of you listening has experienced the angst of rushing around the map only to step around some dark corner somewhere in the map and have a barrage of projectiles cut you down in the prime of your kill streak. This is really the only play style that I can't quite understand the allure of. Resting your nuts in some dark corner waiting for somebody to scream around the corner just to pop them in the head with a shotgun. To each their own. Second, there is the position-based camper, who isn't necessarily posted up in some dark corner somewhere, but he does have, or she, has a wide open view of some or all of the best choke points of the map. Each of these strategic campsites usually have multiple ingress points that are prime travel areas. This allows the strategic sniper, aka the camper, to be able to pick off his adversaries much of the time without being detected. Now, I do know that there is a huge difference between camping in hardcore and camping in core. The biggest difference is that in hardcore, there are no kill cams, so it makes it increasingly harder to find out where the strategic camper, aka strategic sniper, is posted up so that you can come back and get him later. However, the concepts are still the same. The strategic sniper is basically locking down a lane of traffic to a specific part of the map. This to me is nowhere near as aggravating as a corner camper, mostly because these types of campers are generally easy to counter once you know where they are in operation. This of course does rely heavily on the skill of the strategic sniper, aka the camper. Most of you will argue that this type of camping does in fact take no skill at all, and I will obstinately disagree. I have both engaged skillful campers and I have perpetrated this type of play style in the past. The key to this is to have highly quick reflexes and a dead eye for accuracy, and having the ability to incite rage in your opponent never hurts. I will include some footage in Ghosts where I locked down an ingress path with such vigor that I was able to go flawless 37-0, and they knew exactly where I was, and I was able to rebuff their attempts time after time to overcome my position, both from the front and from the back. In the past, I have come up against some pretty crafty campers of this persuasion, and a large percentage of the time, I was so pissed off that they got me, that once I found out where they were, I made it my goal to get them. Death count be damned. And I usually did get them at the end of the day, but not after 4 or 5 unneeded deaths because I was so pissed off that they were posted up somewhere. So yeah, they're not as aggravating as corner campers, but this is still a strategic, valuable playstyle in my opinion. Third, and arguably the most common and the most dangerous, is the camper that moves around in a specific area. This strategy I affectionately call patrolling. Most people bitch and complain that this is just camping and start seething from their ass and their mouth that they are campers and that they themselves only ever rush and blah, 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 blah. I watch these gameplay commentators as they go for their Moabs, nuclears, chem strikes, and or flawless gameplays, and I chuckle. Just a little. I then tune into their commentary as they're speaking about how camping is camping no matter if you call it patrolling or not, and I begin to giggle. Then the ass hurt builds, and just as the commentator's ass begins to chap, I fail to maintain my composure and begin to laugh my ass off, because they are in fact patrolling an area to achieve their kill streak, or get their Moab, or provide their flawless gameplay. I then realize that these hypocrites are unconsciously doing what they are telling the world is a bullshit strategy. True patrolling, in my opinion, is what I like to call regulated rushing. You pick a small section of the map, or maybe it's a large one, and you move around killing anything that comes into your area. You rarely sit in one position, and when you do, it's for a good reason. Reloading your gun, you heard somebody coming because you're sound whoring, whatever. And in this particular type of gameplay style, there is gun-on-gun battle, and it does take some kind of skill to keep people out of your section of patrolled area. This is the most common type of camping, quote unquote, that you will see out there, and chances are, even though you're Captain Rush, you are doing the same thing to achieve high kill streaks or the K.E.M. or the Moab or flawless victories. Brumac and the Black Worm have come up with a hybrid of all three of these forms of camping. In the case of Brumac, it's called punch bowling, where you patrol an area and lock down a section of the map. This section might be large or small. In the case of the Worm, it's called doing the worm, or I affectionately refer to it as extreme camping. The Worm Nation, however, I believe, does call it the Worm, where the Worm basically posts up in a small location that is easily defendable and has a couple ingress points, and through specific tools and strategies, he locks down this room or section of the map. From my experience, both of these tactics are highly effective. In many cases, a combination of all three camping styles. I highly applaud both Brumac and the Worm for these, and in both cases, this gameplay generates exhibits extreme amounts of prejudice against both of them. So at the end of the day, Brumac sums up how this works quite nicely. In the first clip, he explains his punch bowl technique.
The punch bowl is an area of the map I strategically defend and hold down. The best way to play Black Ops 2, in my opinion, is defensively. Unless the other team is worthless, then go balls to the walls. Otherwise, I hold down an area of the map. Some call it camping, some call it patrolling. Call it what you will, it's the way I play the fucking game, so get over it.
And in the second clip, you get to see Brumac patrolling an area. As you'll see that punch bowling and patrolling are roughly close to the same, but in the second clip, he gets out and stretches his legs a little and covers a little more territory. That's what I commonly refer to as controlled rushing.
IMS at your disposal.
The first clip basically breaks down the original Worm class setup of what he uses to do his patrolling in Black Ops 2.
The Golden Snitch is the original motherfucking Worm class, son. I'll go into detail about this one a little bit. There's no attachments on it. It's just plain Jane bad motherfucker to the very end, son.
The second video is basically a double swarm section of gameplay, just kind of showing roughly how he does it all. The Worm has a unique form of trolling, and in every instance of his videos, he is highly entertaining while managing to aggravate all of his opponents into rushing his fortified location, which basically piles up kill after kill while said aggravated opponent tries as hard as he possibly can to uproot the Worm from his position. And then once they eventually do that, the Worm goes right back and continues to do extreme camping until he usually wins the game.
This has been the Worm, son. We're gonna beast mode these motherfuckers. Stay tuned. I'll keep y'all motherfuckers in tune with me, son. Worm Nation out, baby. Peace.
So in closing, there is a large following in the FPS genre that curses everyone else's gameplay style. Call it camping, patrolling, punch bowling, the Worm. At the end of the game, if you have successfully used a gameplay style or strategy that helped you defeat your opponent, then you will have these same people calling you a camping bitch. I have rushed, personally, around the map collecting 50 kills and recovering 50 to 60 tags, both enemy and friendly, in kill confirmed, and was still called a corner camping bitch. The bottom line is you should only worry about your own gameplay and hope that you are adept enough to adapt to the multitude of gameplay styles you may run into in any given game while playing an FPS title. If you can adapt and overcome, then you can always find a multitude of YouTubers that have chapped asses about camping or patrolling, and you can watch and listen to them gripe about it. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.